So, hi everybody and welcome back to this Unreal Engine 5 tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 53 and in this video we start coding our behavior tree. In this video we will just code the task which we created, which is chase player, and I opened this one up and I have already coded a little bit and I will explain it, what I did and why they use this and that. All right, first of all, let's switch to our documentation, which we can see here. And here we start here with the chase player task. Exactly. So the first thing is you jump into the chase player task which we created. That was here in our folder quickstart. Here we created this one, double click it, and the first node which we are searching is this event receive execute AI. And here one thing is very important to know. This event node will expect later this finish execute node. And because if it's not, if you not get this finish execute node later, this event node will stay in this task till it finds this one. What I mean with that is when we go back to our behavior tree and we see this is a task, and when the task starts, it jumps into this blueprint here. It jumps exactly here to the start point here, and then it will try to solve all what we code here till it finds this finish execute code. That's it. So with that said, what we do is right click here, you search this receive receive, and careful, here are different receive execution nodes. We have here general receive execution nodes and one for AI, and they recommend that we use here the AI one. So that said, we continue. And one more note, we have not discussed much about blueprints in this tutorials what I make. I hope you have already a little bit pre-knowledge about blueprint coding. If not, yes, it's a little bit harder to follow because I will not go to all details now here. That would take too long because we want to talk about this behavior tree and how they are doing this and why they are doing this. And let's continue. So we have this node, and this node we cast to our character. So that was the next node. It just cast to our character because sorry, not our character, to our enemy character. In this case it is to enemy AI in my case. And the reason why they want cast there, they want just change here the speed of this character. That's why it's called also chase player, and here they want only change the speed, but they do here a little bit more than normal. So we will see what I mean with that. First of all, what they do is they create a new function, and they create a new function just to get access for the character, for the enemy character here. But in real, let's say not in real, but actually this function, what they are going to create, we don't need. Why not? Because they want only access the speed to change it, to set it. Actually, we could get here, because we are already casted it to the character, to the enemy character, we have already access to his properties. What I mean with that, I have with this cast here access, not this one, what is that? Update work speed. Access to his properties here. So all these things I can call anyhow. And the one in which I am interested is actually this character movement, and here the walk speed. So what I could do normally, instead of creating a function, is just call it With other words, I say here character movement, character move, oops, character, and then I scroll down. I know it's anywhere down, and then in components variables, then in components get character movement component. This one I want, and here I can drag out and get the movement speed, also max walk speed. Max walk speed, for example, here get max speed or set max speed. So you can say max walk speed, and then you have a getter and you have a setter. And for example, if you set or get, you can do it from here. So, and what they are doing is they create a special function in our enemy, and yeah, and they make there it. So that's said, and why they are doing this? Because they call it a best practice, because it should not manipulate directly the function. In my case, I would not make it, because I would make it directly here. And the reason why I would make it directly, because performance, because this one is again one more call, one more function call, and one more code in this enemy. And if I do all here, then I spare one more call. But perhaps they are right, and it's much better, because a best practice is it's called best practice for a reason, and we keep it. So you can test it if you really need this performance. If you need, you can skip this, and if not, you follow this. So that said, let's continue. So what they do is, first of all, they go to, let's see what they are going. They create a function, and they create a function they switch first to your enemy character. In my case, it is this character here. And then in this character, they go here down to the functions, and then they press here plus. Careful, not an override, just a plus. And then you can create a function, and they call this function, what they are calling that? I can see it here. Update walk speed, and I delete this one because I already created this one. And then what they are doing is two things, or three things. First, after they create it, you will have something like this node here. And on the right side, you go down to inputs and you add a new input. And this input, you rename it to new walk speed, and you choose here the float. And this one looks something like that then. So you have here input. So the question is, what is this input actually, if you don't know this one? This one is here. Very important to understand this. This function will be called, and if it has something like an input, means who is calling this function must give also an information for this input. In Blueprint, I'm not so sure if it's a must, but most time in C++ you have to. There is a default value, but in general you make this input to give this function a new value, and in this case the new value will be sent from here. We will give it a new value, and then we call this function. This function is then called in our character, and this function is then connected to our max walk speed. And here what they did here is they just get the character movement here, because now I'm in the character, right? Let me see here, I'm in the character of this enemy. The character has here this character movement, and now I can get the max walk speed. Here I write max walk speed, and you see this what I'm doing right now here I did before in my version 2. I said here get character movement speed, max walk speed, the same you could do there too. So they make it with one more step or two more steps, and then you connect it you just connect them here, and this marks walk speed here, and actually that's it for the setup in the character. So we can change with this our character speed. And what they do is after this cast, they have called this function. And how you call this function, you write the new created function name, update walk speed. Where is it? Walk speed, there is it. And you see here is something like this one. And when I write it, you can see here something like we have to write a target. And in our case, the target is this one, would be this one. And then I have here set the new walk speed. I said you have to give this function here, which we created here, a value, right? Because this is our input. I want a value, and you have to write this value here. And what they did is just write first 500 here, for example, as a test. But instead of writing this manually with a hand all time, they don't do this. They promote this one to a variable. So right click here, promote to a variable. And if you do this one, you have actually exactly that what I have here. And I keep the name new walk speed. And they said you should change the name to chase, perhaps chase, not walk speed. You should call it chase speed. You can do this. But the problem here is if you do this, there is actually no problem. It is just another name. I keep it only because I know here it is defined, right? Here I define it. Where I define it? Here I define it at new walk speed. And this one needs a new walk speed. And here I will set the new walk speed. So there is a connectivity about this one because they belong together, right? Here I must give a speed for this one here. That's why I keep the name same to see it directly and easy. Because if I rename this, there is no problem too. It's only a little bit harder to see instantly. That's it, not more. And after this, you have to connect this finish execute pins here. They are very important. You write just finish execute and it pops up. And important, I already told you why they are important, because this node here, this event receive executes AI, need this one. And we have here two because perhaps this cast failed. Then we say finish execute with fail, no success here. Or we say we have a cast and it was successful, then it goes here on top, and then we change here the walk speed, and then we say we are finished with this one and successful. And here one more note, this not successful means here not a fail. It means here only we have I think in this case it means cast to be enemy 2. Yeah, okay, the cast fails. Oh, here it means fails. That's it. That's okay. And then let's see, we go back to our behavior tree, and that was it actually with this one. So we finished here just this one node here, which we have added manually, created here. And yeah, that's it for this video. And in the next video, actually, we will go and let me see what they did here too. Let me, one more thing I have forgotten to say. First, I should make this too. So we go to the, here, instant editable. I should change this one. Yeah, let's go fast in again. I forgot to tell you this one, which is, I'm back in my my task, which I'm programming here. not in my enemy character, in my task. And here I created this variable, right? I promoted this one to the variable, and this one I want send. Here on right on the details panel, you click instant editable. And the reason for that is if you click this one, we can change this value outside of this blueprint. And what this means is if, for example, a non-programmer won't change here the speed, he has not opened up this blueprint, find this value here, change this here manually, what he can do then is just go here, for example, to the behavior tree. You see here is not so much programming, only in this particular parts. He would just watch this behavior tree, and then you say, okay, I want to change the speed of this AI. He should walk faster or slower because he tried to adjust that. Then you just go to this chase player node, which we programmed, and you see here in details, in default, the created variable name. And don't forget all time to compile and save when you do something. Then all the values are taken, and then you can change it here manually. So yeah, now I can say you entered anything, and then I have it here. So which means I don't have open up this blueprint here at all. I don't care it anymore. So with other words, a programmer can program this one time, and later when it's finished in the behavior tree, you don't care about this programming blueprint at all, because you know, you only need to know that this one is changing the speed of the enemy, and you have to know where you can change the speed. You can change it here, and that's it. So, and if you are the programmer, of course, you are going to program this kind of stuff. If you are not the programmer, for example, you are just setting up this behavior tree, then you are working on a team, and the programmer will provide this task for you, and then you are just adding here with this composition as a task. You add this and then click on this one, change here a little bit the option, and that's it. That's why that's why blueprints are so powerful. They are easy to learn, but still, if you don't want to, most functions are made like this, so made exposed on the the instance is editable, exposed on other places, so you can change the values on other places and don't care about programming, visual scripting, nothing. You just have to know how to use it. That's it. Okay, I think I talked too much again, and we have to go, of course, here a little bit more. You can see that's just the 4, and we have here 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, more core programming, more coding. But yeah, see you in the next, and if you have any questions, like all time, write it in the comment. But I think there is no question. You have just follow the documentation and all will be fine. All right, bye till now, next.